All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, when I was a very small child growing up in the 1980s, I remember that there was a very notable daytime soap opera actress by the name of Susan Lucci. And what she was known for was not only her great acting on the soap opera that she was on. I don't remember the name of it. I'm sure that there's one of you brothers or probably one of the females that come on my channel who will know. She would get nominated every year for her performances, but she would never win. And after a while, it became a running joke that Susan Lucci could not win a daytime Emmy for her performance, even though everyone knew that she was probably the greatest actress on daytime soap operas. Well, Steph Curry reminds me of Susan Lucci because at this point in his career, pretty much the only thing that he's missing is the NBA Finals MVP award. He needs it. He needs it because there's been a running narrative that he does not perform well in the finals. And as I've stated, that is mostly narrative. It's not true. It's mostly narrative. But he does have his share of clunkers. Why is that? Because his game is so skills-based. It's so skills-oriented that he can't afford to have a gimpy knee and go up against high-level competition in a playoff environment where they're allowing a higher level of physicality. He just can't afford that. He needs to be at optimal operating conditions in order to perform well in the conference finals, in the finals. He just needs that. And if he's gimpy in any way, it's going to show. And oftentimes, even when he's not gimpy, when his shot is not falling, you'll notice it. It's very noticeable. He'll start to run up the court with his head down. He'll have his mouthpiece hanging out of his mouth, and he'll be looking down at the ground, and you could tell that he's losing his confidence. He is a player who you can make lose his confidence. He's very emotional out there on the floor. So that's one of his prime flaws, is that you can't take him out of his game with intense physicality. And he's not someone really who can be stopped, but you can make him stop himself by making him lose confidence. Because I've seen Steph Curry score 40 points, 45 points on physical defense. But if you can play physical with him and make him miss 4 or 5 long jump shots, particularly 3-pointers, he will start to lose focus. He will start to lose heart. He will start to lose confidence. And you can take him out of a game. But then he'll come back the next game and score 40. That's his prime flaw as a player. And I'm sure that Steve Kerr recognizes that. I believe that Draymond recognized that. That's why he recruited KD so hard. And that gets me to my other point. It's very clear that Kevin Durant has far outleaped Steph Curry in regards to being the front runner for the NBA Finals MVP. And I'm sure that that's going to hurt Steph if that comes to fruition. It's going to hurt him. Not in a way in which he's going to be jealous of KD, but in a way that it's going to make him feel like he has not put up his end of the bargain, because the result of this finals, everybody knew. It was pretty much only a question of whether or not Steph Curry was going to be able to controvert the narrative about him that he's not played well in the finals. And it's unfortunate because he pretty much got robbed in 2015. But he didn't think anything of it because he figured I'll be back multiple times and I'll have multiple chances. Well, he's been back 3 more times and it looks like he's not going to win it. So watch in Game 4 for Golden State to try to feed Steph Curry repetitively and try to get him off. Because I think that KD understands. And even during Game 3, you could see the look on KD's face like, this nigga is not making his shots. And I can't wait for him to get hot. I want him to get the MVP, but I have to do my thing because we cannot afford to give them life. Because if we let Cleveland win Game 3, now Game 4 becomes a must-win game. Or now we're tied 2-2 heading back to Golden State. And now LeBron is going to start to feel like he has a little bit of light. And you never know what can happen in a Game 5 with LeBron barreling down the lane. Referees giving him calls. Next thing you know, LeBron steals winning Golden State. You down 3-2. You're heading back to Cleveland in a must-win game. That's how quickly things can change. So it's very unfortunate. And the thing that I noticed the most about Curry is that he just takes way too many threes when he's not making them. If you're 0 for 6 from 3, dude, get inside, take a little 17-footer. That's a layup for you. And that's what's missing in today's game. Not enough nuance. Not enough nuance amongst today's players in regards to their overall game. They have an issue with that. Everything is either a layup or three in this high analytics basketball world that we live in, unfortunately. And I think it takes away from players like Curry, who is an all-time great. I mean, he's a player who consistently shoots in the high 40 percentile, even though he takes very difficult shots. And I think that if he started to intersperse his offensive game a little bit more, especially in the conference finals and in the finals, he would struggle a bit less. But it's very unfortunate. And the reason why I'm playing this video is because this link was sent to me. I have to give a shout out to the brother Dude What, who sent me this link. And it's going to show some of the reality of how players put their heart into these games. And you're going to see Steph Curry crying to Andre Iguodala after the game because he realizes that his performance in Game 3 is going to cost him a chance at the NBA Finals MVP, most likely. So we're just going to let this run, and afterwards I'm going to provide a little bit more commentary. Nick Young always looks so happy to be alive, don't he? Nick Young is one of those dudes. He's too stupid to realize that he should be mad about something. He's just happy just for the sake of being happy. And, you know, it's good to have people like that in the world sometimes. You know, bring a little sunshine to your life. Now, as we saw, Steph Curry had to be consoled by Andre Iguodala. Why is that? Because once again, Steph Curry knows that his performance in Game 3 is most likely going to cost him a chance at the NBA Finals MVP. And he and Iguodala are great friends. They play golf all the time together. And Iguodala is also the person who, quite frankly, stole Steph Curry's Finals MVP in 2015. And when I say stole, of course, that's in quotes because he didn't really steal it. It was given to him by the NBA writers who really wanted to give it to LeBron James, but couldn't. So they had to give an indirect shout out to LeBron by giving it to the guy who was guarding LeBron. I mean, it was so ridiculous. But it is what it is. Point being, once again, watch in Game 4 for the Golden State Warriors to try to feed Steph Curry the basketball, especially early, to see how hot he is. But if he's not hot again, they're going to have to just run their regular offense, unfortunately for Steph. Now, if by some way he's able to have a 45-point game, one of those games where he's something like 19 for 30 and has 45 points, you know, one of those 23-point third quarters that he can have, they may give him the MVP. But with the level of intensity and defense that they're playing with, and when I say they, I'm talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers in regards to guarding Curry, not in regards to overall defense, and how they're guarding Curry is going to be very difficult for him to score unless he's hot. Because even in the first two games, he did not shoot above 50% because they're honing in on him defensively. Their overall team defensive scheme is terrible. But in regards to how they're following Curry around, they try not to lose him. Now, of course, they had that big faux pas in the fourth quarter where Rodney Hood left Curry to try to go guard Klay Thompson, and Curry was able to hit that easy three-pointer. But we'll see what happens in Game 4. But I just wanted to show this little clip because we very rarely get to see how players truly feel about their performances. And around this time period, the time of the NBA Finals, we always have the abundance of idiots all over the internet talking about how everything is rigged and they know the score before the game and all this other dumb shit. And I didn't realize how popular it was for a lot of these guys to run around the internet talking about how everything is rigged and how every player knows what the final score is going to be by the end of the game and all this other stuff. I didn't know that until I started making videos last year. I say this all the time. Those guys started to come on my channel and they said the league wants LeBron to win the NBA Finals. He's going to come back from down 3-0. The Cavs won Game 4. They started to come even more on my channel. And then when they lost Game 5, they disappeared. That's how you know that most of those guys, they have mental problems. Because they cannot even use or find enough character to say, you know what, I was wrong about that. Maybe I need to recalibrate my thoughts on exactly what's going on in professional sports. Maybe it's not as rigged, quote unquote, as I'm being told or as I think it is. Maybe there are some nefarious things going on in sports, but not quite to the degree that I've been watching in these videos. And that's one of the main problems. You have too many video scholars out here. A lot of cats are video scholars. And to be quite honest with you, I find that a lot of the dudes who always talk about how all sports are rigged down to the numbers, they also tend to be weed heads. They tend to be weed heads, and they tend to be excuse makers in regards to why their life is not going a certain way. Once again, do you have a Luciferian aspect to professional sports? Absolutely. The sports world goes back to the games that were held in the ancient world in commemoration of Asar. So that's why these games are often held on certain days of high significance, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, New Year's Day, things of that nature. That's why numerology is so important on these players when it comes to their jerseys. Many of them are monarch athletes. But to say that the score is going to be 112 to 110 and they're going to get the 12th man off the end of the bench with 12 seconds left to make a 12-foot shot, like, it's just, I mean, that's just dumb shit. Okay? And it's annoying. It gets annoying. And that's another reason why I just wanted to play this clip, because it shows you how much Curry wanted this. He's just not out there going through a dance recital like some of these idiots will have you believe. They're playing hard. When you see a LeBron James get poked in his eye, when he gets bust upside the top of his left eyebrow like he was against the Indiana Pacers, that's not something that they rehearsed, okay? That's real shit that happens. But anyway, I just wanted, once again, thank you to the brother Dude What who sent me this link. Peace.